Welcome to County Magazine, a chance to find out what's new across Fairfax County. I'm Bryan Ashby. On this edition, we'll talk to Jessica Moser of the Department of Family Services about Adoption Awareness Month. We'll hear the inspirational adoption story of Katie and Zach and take a look at cutting-edge treatment at the Addiction Medicine Clinic. Plus, a very special ribbon cutting in Reston. Meet Katie and Zach. Katie is a third grade teacher with Fairfax County Public Schools and a single mom. Zach is a dynamic, fun-loving little boy that came into her life and brightened it forever. Their story illustrates how the Department of Family Services connects kids in need with forever families through adoption.
You have to eat these two little fellas because you eated this one.
Oh, Zach. Zach is a wonderful child. I could not ask for a better son. He is super social. Everybody loves Zach. He's very funny. He's engaging. He's empathetic. He can really match people's feelings, personalities. My name is Catherine Damon. I am a third grade teacher in Fairfax County. Zach came to me at 2 years old. He came with his brother, who was an infant. He was 2 weeks old. He was in 2 foster families before me, and he had tried to reunify with his mother, which didn't work out. So then he went back to another foster family, and then he came to live with me. When Zach came, he had some, behavior issues. He was, a little bit more reserved. He was a little bit more frightened, but he's getting better. I can see with every month, every year that, he's growing. But he's just a dynamic, super kid.
Almost put all of these in here, you win. If you like just have 1 or 3 or 4, you just win.
Okay. Zach loves to hear his story. He's always asking, can you tell me my foster care story? Can you tell me my adoptive story? And he has a good relationship with most of his family. He has a relationship with his Aunt Sarah. And so sometimes when Aunt Sarah comes over, she'll call his dad, who's in Saudi Arabia. I keep in touch with his mom, so I can send her pictures and let her know how he's doing. He has a brother and a sister who are with an aunt, and so he is able to see them. He knows his foster families that he was with, so he loves to hear his foster care story. And so he has all this family, and we talk about when he was born. We've been very lucky that we've been able to get pictures. So he has his entire story from when he was born until now, and so his story is complete. I think I have the same hopes that most parents have for their children. I want him to have a good life. I want him to be healthy. I want him to be happy. I want him to have integrity as a strong man in society. But as an adoptive child, I want him to be able to know that he's loved. I don't want him to have questions about where he came from, which is why, knowing his story is so important. I want him to be able to go forth and have a strong family himself. I've been super lucky to have so many wonderful people in my life. He has known the same social worker all throughout, and I know that I can call her anytime about Zach and that she absolutely adores Zach. So I think that, if you're looking to foster, go into fostering. If you're looking to foster to adopt, that's a wonderful thing to do. It's very important for these kids to have a safe place to land when they most need it. Everyone knows Zach's adoption story, and my kids in my class all know, Zach's adopted, and Zach's class knows Zach's adopted, and we're able to share that story with others. And then, other teachers come up to me and other adults come up to me and they ask me about foster care and they ask me about, adoption, and I'm able to share that with them and hopefully, encourage others to do that as well.
Did you know that across the nation, 122,000 children are waiting to be adopted? And that in the Commonwealth of Virginia, 700 foster children are waiting for adoptive families? November is National Adoption Awareness Month, and with us to talk about adoption and foster care in Fairfax County is Jessica Moser from the Department of Family Services. Jessica, welcome to County Magazine.
Thanks for having me.
Sure. So first, let's start with what's the difference between foster care and adoption?
Well, foster care is really designed to be a temporary solution for children and youth. So when a child comes into foster care, they'll be placed with a foster family, but the idea is that they can return to their biological family or previous legal guardian as quickly and as safely as possible. We only move into adoption once it's become clear that that child cannot safely return to their biological home. So adoption then is focused on the long term, to have the child exit foster care and remain with a family for the rest of their life.
So why is it important that foster kids end up with a forever family?
Well, as you can imagine, it's very important for these children to be able to feel connected to a family, to have that level of permanency and stability and safety in their life. It also just provides normalcy for a child. When a child is adopted out of foster care, they no longer have to be involved with the foster care system, and it allows them to carry on in the family like any other child in the community. And lastly, it just provides a safe and secure space for that child to form secure attachments, for them to grow their sense of self and identity, and feel connected to a family for the rest of their life.
So how does the Department of Family Services help prospective adoptive families who would like to foster or adopt a child?
Absolutely. If a family is interested in becoming a foster or adoptive family, they can contact us, and we'll start with a brief orientation of what it means to be a foster and adoptive parent. And then if we decide to continue on, we'll provide them certification. Fairfax County dual certifies all of our families as foster and adoptive families. And through that process, we'll also provide extensive training, both while you're preparing to bring children into your home, and then as you continue as a foster parent and potentially an adoptive parent. And then when a child is placed in your home, we have case managers and support workers who will help carry you through that process. We'll help set up supportive services, things like transportation, therapy, secure funding for certain things that those children need. And then should your case go to the point of adoption, you'll be assigned an adoption specialist who will carry you and the child through the adoption process until it finalizes in the court system. And then even after it finalizes, we have a post-adoption team who remain there as needed support until that child is 18.
Wow, that's a fantastic continuum of services you guys offer. Mm-hmm. We'll ask Jessica how Fairfax County residents can get involved with foster care and adoption in a minute. But first, this important safety message from the Fairfax County Fire and Rescue Department.
Hi, I'm Captain Timothy Palmer with the Fairfax County Fire and Rescue Department. A roaring fire in your fireplace can be beautiful and comforting on a cold night. But when the fire is out, you need to safely discard your fireplace ashes. Every year, improperly discarded ashes cause several home fires in Fairfax County. These fires are totally preventable. To safely discard your fireplace ashes, remember to can your ashes. Embers and debris in your ashes can stay hot for several days. Placing the ashes in paper, a plastic bag, cardboard box, or plastic trash can will not protect your home from fire. Placing the ashes in a metal container away from your home with a lid is the only way to safely store fireplace ashes. First, scoop out the ashes with a metal shovel and carefully place them in the metal container. Then, pour water over the ashes and stir to make sure all the ash has cooled. Finally, put a lid on your container and place the ashes a safe distance from your home and away from everything that can burn. After you've allowed the ash to cool for a couple of days, they are now safe to bag up and throw away with the rest of your garbage. By following these few simple safety tips, you and your family can stay warm and safe.
I'm back with Jessica Moser from the Department of Family Services, and we're talking about National Adoption Awareness Month in Fairfax County. Jessica, what are some of the biggest hurdles for prospective adoptive parents?
Well, I think when parents are considering adopting a child out of foster care, there can be a lot of fear of the unknown. How will that child adapt into our home? What challenges are unique and specific to adopting children out of foster care? How can we help that child manage their relationship with their biological family? And so that's where we come in to try and provide support as adoption specialists and post-adoption specialists. And then what a lot of people don't actually realize is many of our adoptive families are kinship families, meaning they're aunts, uncles, cousins, grandparents that have stepped in to adopt their relatives out of foster care. And so that can also bring up questions of how is this going to change the dynamic within my greater family? But we also provide training in that area as well, or connect families to local resources and other adoption specialists and agencies that can help coach you through some of those fears.
And what about hurdles for the adoptive kids?
Well, one of the biggest hurdles is particularly for our older youth, our teenagers, and our children who are high needs. Really what we need is more families who are open and willing to bring these children into their home. And then as a child is adopted out of foster care, there's a lot of questions around their tied loyalty both to their family of origin and their adoptive family, and how to manage those complex relationships. And so we encourage our adoptive families as much as possible to help and coach our children through understanding their role and their expansion of their family tree so that they can manage those complex relationships.
I see. So how is Fairfax County recognizing and celebrating Adoption Awareness Month?
Well, we love to take this month to spotlight and celebrate our adoptive families. So if you go onto our website, you will find stories and videos from our adoptive families that you can hear from them firsthand what their experiences have been. We also share adoption stories and statistics through our social media avenues. And then lastly, we're providing our adoptive families with additional trainings this month around complex issues like transracial adoption and those kinds of things.
That sounds like a great place to start. Jessica, thank you very much for coming on the show and sharing your expertise about adoption and foster care.
Thanks for having me.
Next, we're going to look at another groundbreaking county program, the Addiction Medicine Clinic at the Merrifield Crisis Response Center, which treats opioid addiction with medicines. And it's helping scores of drug offenders get back on their feet and resume productive lives. Here's more.
I started at a young age doing drugs, and as I got older, it progressed into more drugs, harder drugs and whatnot. By the age of 18, I was in and out of jail because of my drug use, and opiates was my main problem, and that's where my struggle began. I was recently incarcerated at the ADC for drug-related charges. I was introduced to the Addiction Medicine Clinic in the CSB in the ADC, and they took me right away, and they sat down with me and listened to everything I had to say. I've been a part of the AMC now for a little over a year, and it's been great.
When someone comes to the Addiction Medicine Clinic, they are part of a team, the treatment team. And the treatment team would include the person that's struggling with the disease, as well as a doctor, a nurse, and a case manager.
We do get clients from a variety of places, coming out of detox, simply people who walk in the front door. They go and have a assessment completed and they're referred to us. People coming out of residential treatment programs, and people coming out of the Adult Detention Center, the ADC.
When someone is released from the jail, there's a lot of barriers that come with that. Sometimes they don't have a phone, they don't have housing, they don't have any social supports. So my job is to assist them in linking to those resources and kind of combating those barriers with them and addressing that.
Services that we provide include individual and group therapy, which is optional, but we encourage it for support. And also it gives the chance for the client to process their feelings about, past traumas and just hardships that they deal with growing up.
The staff actually is very involved as far as their concern and keeping you on a straight path, and they want to see you succeed.
When they're incarcerated, they are started on Suboxone to help with withdrawals and cravings while they're in the jail. And coming out to provide some additional stability, they are continued with Suboxone.
So regarding relapse, it happens, and we ask them if there's any particular triggers that happened, any situations, maybe stressors they dealt with, and we talk about it with them, and we try to get ahead of it and ask them, is there anything we can help them to do?
One of the things we say all the time is, regardless if you're using, come in, we'll see you, we'll work with you where you're at, and that's our biggest thing, is just meeting someone where they're at in their recovery.
I think the AMC is a wonderful program it provides to the community. It's a wonderful team. We all work well together, we blend well together. I find it very rewarding, and I think that it's a very valuable program to the clients.
I'm grateful that I have the opportunity to serve the people in this county.
If you're dealing with addiction, please seek help. There are people out there to support you. You're not in this alone.
I love my job. I love my team. I love my patients. We save lives.
They motivate me to want to do better constantly. They motivate me to want better things in life, and it's motivating in itself, just being in the program, to want to reach out to other people and motivate them.
Recently, 240 diverse senior households moved into the new state-of-the-art Lake Ann House residential building in Reston. The brand new building offers all the modern amenities seen on the housing market without the market rates, making aging in place affordable to more Fairfax County seniors. Our cameras were at the ribbon cutting and caught up with some of the folks that made the Lake Ann House possible. Take a look.
2, 1.
We're in an area of opportunity where there's not a lot of affordable housing and where the cost of living is very expensive. So for the 240 households that live at Lake Ann, this is a unique opportunity. The building is fully occupied. All the households are 62 and over in terms of their age, and all the households are low-income seniors. It's an incredibly diverse community with over 15 languages spoken among the residents that live there.
It really is a great example of how we can preserve affordable housing and continue to provide affordable housing to our residents who need it.
Like all of our affordable housing, it's a basis for the rest of life. People shouldn't have to be worried about whether they might be losing their place and whether they can afford it. And I know as a senior myself that gets harder for people who are senior citizens. And I think this is an important thing that Fairfax County Housing Authority tries to do in reaching out to people to make sure that they realize that we can try to make affordable housing available.
As you can see behind me as well, the building is designed to look like a market rate apartment building. It's got a beautiful, striking design with a patio that overlooks Lake Ann, and it really is a special place. The location, the design, and the spirit of partnership between Enterprise and our partners at Fellowship Square Foundation in Fairfax County are really the special parts of this project. The old buildings did not have handicap accessible units, they weren't energy efficient, they didn't have modern day amenities. So Enterprise worked with the Fellowship Square Foundation to design a new building that had all the things the old buildings did not. 54 of the units in the new building are fully handicap accessible. 100% of the buildings are universally designed. There's close to 15,000 square feet of amenity space, and the building is Earthcraft and Energy Star certified, which means it's highly energy efficient. For our residents who have moved in, we have 240 households that have moved in. They're extremely happy with the new building.
Well, that's going to do it for this edition of County Magazine. Thanks for joining me. Don't forget that November is National Adoption Awareness Month, and the county has resources to help you at any stage of your adoption journey. So be sure to visit the Department of Family Services to learn more. And remember, there are countless ways for you to get involved in your community and make Fairfax County an even better place to live, work, and play. I'm Bryan Ashby, and we'll see you next time on County Magazine.